I called my best friend, the groom, expecting him to clear up a misunderstanding. I asked why my wife of 6 years hadn't received an invitation. His response was like a knife to the chest. He told me, "Honestly, we just weren't sure where you two would even be at by the time the wedding came around." He wasn't talking about location. He was implying he thought our marriage might be over in 2 months. And that was just the beginning of the disrespect. Welcome back today. This post is from the subreddit r/Am I the A-hole by user Original Poster. They ask, "Am I the ikaw here for withdrawing as a groomsman at a wedding that my wife is not invited to?" Before I start, please press like button. Let's get start. It seems pretty straightforward when I say it out loud like that. But believe me, the emotional weight of this is dragging me down. I'm currently set to be a groomsman at my close friend's wedding, which is now just 2 months away. We've been friends for years, and being asked to stand up with him on his big day was a huge honor. Or at least, I thought it was. The problem started when the physical invitations arrived. I opened the mailbox, excited to see the official details. I found the envelope addressed only to me. Just my name. No and guest, and definitely not my wife's name. My heart dropped. I went inside and showed my wife. She didn't say much at first, but I could see the hurt in her eyes. You need to understand some background here. My wife and I have been together for 6 years. 6 years of building a life together, supporting each other through everything. But for about 3 of those years, my immediate family has been on terrible terms with her. It's not dramatic, explosive stuff. It's just total icy silence. They don't speak at all. When I realized she wasn't invited, I had to call the groom. I couldn't just ignore it. He's my friend, and I needed to know what was going on. It was one of the most awkward conversations of my life. When I asked him flat out why she wasn't invited, he gave me a few reasons, and each one felt like a bigger slap in the face than the last. First, he said it was because of the drama between her and my family. His family is also close friends with my family, so everyone knows the situation. He told me they didn't want anyone, specifically my family, I assume, feeling uncomfortable at the reception. So, to keep the peace for my family, they decided to exclude my wife, the person I chose to spend my life with. But then came the kicker, the reason that truly made my stomach turn. He hesitated over the phone, then added, "Plus, honestly, we weren't really sure where you guys would even be at by then." I was stunned. I asked him to clarify, even though I knew exactly what he meant. He implied that they thought my wife and I might break up or get divorced within the next 2 months. Again, we have been together for 6 years. We are solid. And here was my so-called close friend, openly speculating about the demise of my marriage to justify not inviting my wife. It was incredibly disrespectful, not just to me, but to the commitment we made. I met this friend when he got a job at my family's business, where I also work. That's how the friendship started. We were co-workers who became truly close. Our personal relationship grew from that shared environment. He doesn't work there anymore, but the roots of the friendship are definitely in that family dynamic. Because of this, I assumed my wife would be invited. She's my wife. My friend and her don't have a conflicted relationship at all. Whenever they've been together, it's been polite and friendly. But by not inviting her, he's prioritizing his relationship with my family over his relationship with me and my wife. I can't help but feel there was massive pressure from both families on him to not invite her, just to avoid an awkward situation. But for me, as the husband, attending that wedding alone sends a terrible message. It tells my family that they get to dictate the terms around my wife, even at events that should have nothing to do with them. It tells everyone that I accept their exclusion of her. And that's something that I'd never accept if I were her, both because of respect for her, but also as a principle. If it changes anything, and I think it does, he no longer works for my family. So, he doesn't have that employer-employee dynamic to worry about anymore. This means he is truly choosing my family's comfort over showing respect for my marriage. I love my wife. She isn't insufferable. She hasn't done something egregious like cheating or anything wild. She isn't even trying to discourage my relationship with my family. She's actually amazing about it. She encourages me to spend time with them even when she's not invited, just so I can have that connection. The bad blood between her and my family is just petty bickering, stubbornness, boundary issues, unreasonable expectations, and some harsh reactions over the years. This whole situation is amplified because the family business is involved, which brings its own level of toxic expectations. It's just incredibly hurtful that an outsider, a man I considered a close friend, thinks it's okay to force me into a position where I have to disrespect my wife like this. I know it's their wedding, their choice. I'm not demanding she get an invite. I'm just saying that inviting me, especially as a groomsman and not her, is profoundly disrespectful. If he really didn't want the drama, he should have just not invited me at all and been honest about why. At least that would have been a respectful, albeit sad, decision. But now it feels like I have no choice. Standing there by his side while my wife sits at home alone because my family doesn't like her is just... I can't do it. I have to prioritize her. I have to stand by her, just like she stands by me. So, I have to step down. Let that sink in. A 6-year relationship, a valid marriage, and a supposed best friend thinks it's acceptable to tell you that he didn't invite your spouse because he thought you might break up by the time of the wedding. It's hard to even wrap my head around that kind of logic, that kind of open disparaging of our union while asking me to celebrate his. I was finally able to talk to the groom more about this today. I needed to get to the bottom of this, and the justification got even wilder. He told me straight up that they had looked at my Facebook profile and saw that it said, separated. I don't remember that ever being on there. I'm not really a Facebook person. I use it to keep in touch with old friends, but I rarely update my status or look at it. My wife doesn't even have a relationship status on her profile at all, but we both have tons of pictures of one another up there. Anyone with half a brain could look at our profiles and see we are clearly still together. When I cleared it up by saying that we are absolutely not separated and reiterated that we've been happily together for 6 years, his reaction was dismissive. He basically just said he respected my decision to step down and that he is not angry about it. So she still wasn't invited. Even after confirming we aren't separated, even after understanding how deeply insulting his previous implication was, the invitation didn't materialize. That's how I knew for sure that the initial excuse about my family was the real reason. The whole, we thought you were breaking up thing was just a cover. Or maybe a convenient self-delusion they used to justify a decision they knew was wrong. It's hard to swallow. It makes me reconsider the entire friendship. This person, who I would have done anything for, has chosen a side in a family conflict that doesn't involve him. He has decided that making my toxic family feel comfortable is more important than including the woman I love on one of the biggest days of his life. I'm stepping down gracefully. I'm not going to cause a scene or engage in massive arguments over it. I've made my position clear. I cannot attend without my wife under these circumstances. They may try to come up with more reasons or involve others to pressure me, but I'm done engaging. This entire experience has been eye-opening. It made me realize that the friendship isn't what I thought it was. It hurts deeply to lose a friend and to see how easily he could disrespect my wife. But it also confirms that my decision to marry her was the right one. She encourages me to have relationships with people who hurt her. She tries to build bridges where others burn them. Standing by her isn't just a duty. It's a statement of my love for her. We've found happiness in these 6 years, and I'm not going to let anyone, not my family, and not a so-called friend, try to undermine that. Not attending the wedding is a clear signal of where my loyalty lies. Why would I go to the trouble, expense, and emotional output of celebrating their union when they are openly disparaging mine? Absolutely not. I think the move here is to take my wife on a mini vacation that weekend. Something special for just the two of us. Make a real statement about how much I love her and that I'm standing by her. Instead of sitting around feeling hurt about a wedding we weren't both welcome at, we'll be making happy memories somewhere else. It's tragic that it came to this. It's tragic that family pettiness and business expectations can poison friendships and cause this much hurt. But at the end of the day, I chose her. I married her. She is my family now. And if others can't respect that, then they don't get the privilege of having me around to celebrate their milestones. I'm not the for knowing where my priorities should be. Thanks for sharing that heartbreaking post, OP. Now, let's see what the Reddit community had to say about this incredibly messy situation. User outrageous ads really nailed the difficulty of the situation. Anything you decide will cause a problem. Go and you will be there alone. What will people say? What will your wife feel? Not go and you show loyalty to your wife and send a signal to all others. What will they think? If it was me, I would stay home with my wife. I married her, not the others. This is actually horrible of them to imply that you're going to break up. They don't respect your marriage at all. Not the buyback. Not attending the wedding will show where your loyalty is. User Reddit Rambler suggested the perfect reply to the groom. Take your wife on a mini vacay that weekend. Reply to them and say, I definitely don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable, so I will be opting out of your wedding. It sends a polite yet powerful message. Okay, listeners, that was a lot to process. After reading OP's updates, my verdict aligns with the comments. OP is absolutely not the... Let's be honest. This groom showed a shocking level of disrespect. Inviting a groomsman but not his wife of 6 years? That alone is a massive breach of etiquette and respect. But the justifications provided were just... wow. Predicting that a friend's 6-year relationship might end in 2 months as a reason not to invite a spouse is incredibly offensive. It's an open declaration that he doesn't take OP's marriage seriously. And then, trying to double down with that weak Facebook-separated excuse? Come on. Even if he did see that, why wouldn't he just text or call his close friend to check in first, especially before making a major decision like excluding his wife? The hard truth here is that the groom chose. He chose OP's family over OP's wife. He decided that maintaining comfort for people with petty, long-standing drama was more important than showing basic decency to the woman OP built a life with. Yes, it's their wedding, their choice. They have the absolute right to invite whoever they want. But OP also has a choice. His choice is to show his wife where his loyalties lie. By attending alone, he would be sending a clear signal that he accepts his family's toxic behavior and that he's okay with his wife being treated as an outcast. OP made the right call. When you marry someone, you become a team. You stand against outside conflict together, even when that conflict comes from your own blood family. Stepping down as a groomsman, while difficult, was the only way for him to maintain his integrity and show his wife that she is his #1 priority. Thanks for watching. Please comment your thoughts.